Dear students, before understanding the income tax chapter, income tax book, we have to understand some basic terminology that is frequently used in our income tax subject, right? So I am discussing some basic terms in this particular video that are related some 5 to 6 terms. There are more few terms in income tax subject, but in this particular video we are discussing some few terms that will be very familiar with you, or and after understanding these terms you will be very familiar with the subject, right? So let's start some basic terms. First of all, we are going to discuss assessee. Who is assessee? Right? Who is assessee? Assessee simply means the person who is liable to pay income tax. Assessee simple means a person who is liable to pay income tax. Now, the basic term I use the person who is liable to pay income tax. So before discussing detail of assessee, we need to understand the person. Who is person? तो पर्सन गवर्नमेंट ने उसको बोला है पर्सन जो भी इनकम टैक्स की नज़रों में बाय एनी वेज इनकम अर्न करता है, बाय एनी वेज इनकम अर्न करता है, मतलब देयर सो मैनी कैटेगरीज ऑफ पीपल, कैटेगरीज ऑफ इंस्टीट्यूशंस, कॉरपोरेट, जिसको हमने पर्सन की कैटेगरी में डाला है, और वो कॉरपोरेट हु आर लायबल टू पे इनकम टैक्स दैट आर कॉल्ड असेसी। तो एक बेसिक यहाँ पे क्वेश्चन आ सकता है, इसी बेसिक टर्म से क्वेश्चन आ सकता है क्या कि जस्टिफाई द स्टेटमेंट दैट all assessees are person but all person are not assessee, दिस मे बी द क्वेश्चन। तो यहाँ पे इसका आंसर क्या होगा? दिस इज राइट, दिस इज करेक्ट स्टेटमेंट, क्योंकि जरूरी नहीं है कि जो पर्सन है वो असेसी हो। क्यों? पर्सन तो कोई भी हो सकता है, क्योंकि सभी लोग अपनी लाइवलीहुड के लिए अर्न करते हैं, बट सभी जो अर्न करते हैं नॉट नेसेसरी आर द पीपल हु आर लायबल टू पे इनकम टैक्स। तो असेसी वही होगा उस पर्सन में जो लायबल टू पे इनकम टैक्स है, क्योंकि आगे हम पढ़ेंगे एक स्लैब रेट गवर्नमेंट ने बनाई है, एक मिनिमम अर्निंग बनाया है मैक्सिमम, जिसके बियॉन्ड अगर आप जाते हो तो यू आर लायबल टू पे इनकम टैक्स, and below that limit you are not liable to pay income tax. Simple. In simple way we can say that person are the categories of the identity individuals, corporates who earn by any ways that a person, and assessee are those person who are liable to pay income tax, right? Now the second term is that we use, and this is previous year and assessment year. What is previous year and assessment year? Let me tell you, this previous year doesn't mean पिछला साल. No. Previous mean doesn't mean पिछला साल. Previous year means year in which you have earned the income. The assessee has earned the income. For example, 1920, 2019, 2020, this is the financial year. That financial year is starting with 1st April 2019 and end with 31st March 2020. So this is a particular period. So this may be a previous year. This is the year in which person earn the income, right? And the year in which our income is assessed, that is usually next to our previous year, that is called assessment year. Let me explain you more. Assessment year is the year which your income is being assessed. For example, if you have earned the income in 1920, then your assessment will be, then your income tax compilation will be made in the year 2021, right? 2021, it means the year in which you earn the income, you are not supposed to pay, or you are not supposed to file in the same financial year, right? So for स्टूडेंट ओरिएंटेड इफ यू टॉक अबाउट, तो प्रीवियस ईयर जो भी स्टूडेंट 2020 का एग्जाम देंगे उनके एग्जाम में प्रीवियस ईयर एप्लीकेबल होगा, उनके एग्जाम में प्रीवियस ईयर एप्लीकेबल होगा। कौन सा प्रीवियस ईयर? प्रीवियस ईयर आपके लिए एप्लीकेबल होगा 1819, दैट विल बी योर प्रीवियस ईयर, right? And for that your what will be your assessment year? Your assessment year will be 1920. Your assessment year will be 1920. So 1890 is the previous year in which assessee earned the income, and 1920 is the year in which income of the assessee is being assessed, right? Okay, so we have discussed assessee, previous year, assessment year, person. Now the two terms, gross total income and total income. Gross total income is the income and aggregation of 5 heads. Gross total income is the income that comes after computing the income from 5 heads. What are those 5 heads? We have 5 sources of income that are discussed by income tax act, and the five sources of income are: first of all is salary, second source is house property, second source is capital gain, fourth source is pgbp, that means profit and gains from business and profession, and the last source is other source. Right. So what is gross total income? Gross total income is the summation of five heads: salary, house property, capital gain, business profession, other sources. Right. Now what is total income? Total income is the income after deducting the deductions that are available under chapter 6a. It means total income is the income which comes, that is gross total income minus deductions, that is your total income. टोटल इनकम क्या हो गई हमारी, जो हमने फाइव हेड से इनकम अर्न करी, दैट इज आर ग्रॉस टोटल इनकम। एंड व्हेन वी डिडक्ट द डिडक्शंस अवेलेबल अंडर चैप्टर 6 से, जो हम डिटेल से पढ़ेंगे आगे, उसको डिडक्ट करने के बाद हमारे पास जो इनकम अवेलेबल होती है दैट इज टोटल इनकम। एंड ऑन टोटल इनकम वी हैव टू कंप्यूट आर टैक्स लायबिलिटी, राइट। तो दीज आर द फ्यू टर्म्स दैट basically use in income tax, and we will be able to understand the subject if we will be familiar with the terms, right? Now let's discuss the term person in detail. Now discuss the term person as per income tax act in detail. मतलब person के अंदर क्या क्या चीज़ें इंक्लूड है, कौन पर्सन है एज पर इनकम टैक्स, वो हम लोग डिस्कस करते हैं अब, राइट। तो पर्सन कौन है इनकम टैक्स के अकॉर्डिंग, देखिए फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल सोल प्रोप्राइटरशिप, सेकंड इज एचयूएफ हिंदू अनडिवाइड फैमिली, पार्टनरशिप फर्म, कंपनी, एसोसिएशन ऑफ पर्सन दैट इज एओपी, बीओआई बॉडी ऑफ इंडिविजुअल्स, artificial juridical person, and last one is this is, please correct the spelling, statutory corporation, and the last one is local authorities. So these are the person, as I already told you in the last session, that ऑल assessees आर पर्सन बट ऑल पर्सनस आर नॉट assessee। मतलब जो भी assessee होगा वो इन्हीं पर्सनस में से होगा, इन्हीं पर्सन में से कोई पर्सन होगा जिसको, जो assessee होगा, जिसको इनकम टैक्स पे करना है, तो उसे हम क्या बोलेंगे, assessee। लेकिन ज़रूरी नहीं है कि जो यहाँ पे ये पर्सन है वो आगे चल के इनकम टैक्स पे करने के लायबल हो, इसका मतलब वो assessee नहीं भी हो सकते, राइट। तो ये वो कैटेगरीज ऑफ पीपल, इंस्टीट्यूशंस एंड बॉडीज हैं जो इनकम बाय एनी वेज अर्न करती हैं, राइट। तो फर्स्ट वी हैव व्हाट, फर्स्ट वी हैव सोल प्रोप्राइटर। व्हाट इज सोल प्रोप्राइटर? नॉर्मल इंडिविजुअल लाइक मी एज अ टीचर, यू एज अ स्टूडेंट, योर मदर, योर फादर, दे आर अर्निंग बाय एनी वेज ऑफ सोर्स ऑफ इनकम, तो दे आर इंडिविजुअल, right? First, second one is HUF, Hindu Undivided Family. Hindu Undivided Family by its family business earn the income by some sources, so it is under category of HUF, right? Third one is partnership firm. You know this term very familiar. The partnership firm is very simple, the association of two or more person who have agreed to share the profit or loss of a business, right? Company is also a person. Association of person means the term that we are discussing, the combination of person, right? Association of person मतलब क्या हो गया, association of person मतलब two or more individual form some institution, two or more partnership firm, or a company or a partnership firm, this association of person. Like in accounting term we normally use joint venture, that here term is called association of person, right? Body of individual, what is body of individual? Body of individual means combination or collections of individual, right? For example, societies are formed for a particular purpose, so here the term is body of individual. So if that society is earning by whatever source any income, are liable to be called as person under this category, right? Now artificial juridical person, for example RBI, CBI, these are the artificial juridical person formed for a particular reason, right? उसके बाद statutory corporation are the same something, right? Then local authority simply means your MCD, your DDA, your municipality, your municipal committee, district board, they are also having some income by some tax collection, by imposing some fines, so these are under these category, right? So I hope this is clear to you. Now simple thing is, person is our individual, forms, business corporations or entity by which they earn income by whatever source, and who are liable to pay income tax under the categories of person, that they will be called assessee, right? Now, let's understand what are the sources of income as per the Income Tax Act. Means what are the categories of income that income tax had described the sources that are called sources of Income Tax Act. So in the Income Tax Act, income tax define the 5 sources of income. That means Income Tax Act says that there are major 5 categories of income as the person are normally get income from, right? So let's discuss the what are the 5 sources of income. First source of income is salary. First source of income is salary. What is salary? You normally know what is salary means, where there is some employee and there is some employer. When there is employee and employer relationship, then only we can say that we are getting salary. The Income Tax Act says income from salary is one of the source of income, but we have to be proven that income from salaries only it can be determined when there is a relation of employer employee relationship. If you are working somewhere but you are not in a relationship of employer and employee, then your income will not be categorized under income from salary, right? I think first source is clear to you. First source of income is income from salary. Income from salary. Now, what is second source of income? Second source of income is income from house property. Income from house property. House property normally means income from property letting it out. By letting it out means simply rental income. Some of the properties are rented by some individual and normally we collect rent from them, and we normally know that property can be let out for the residential purpose and for the commercial purpose, right? We normally get the rental income by some residential let out property and commercial let out property. So income from house property is categorized under this head is basically rental income that we derive from the property which is let out, right? So here one more term is to be discussed is self house property. Self occupied property is not liable to tax. Means property in which you are residing or your family is residing is to be called as self occupied property, where there is no rental income. Normally these are not under your taxable head. That is not will be computed in your income tax under house property clause, right? So we have discussed two sources of income. First is salary and second was house property. Now third one. Third one is income from capital gains. Income from capital gains. Capital means your assets. Capital means your assets, and any asset you have sold and you derive the income that will be assessed under this category, right? For example, you may sold your land, you may sold your asset, you may sold up. What is capital asset, what is sale, we will discuss in detail when we study the capital gain chapter. The third source of income is capital gain. Means any person who sold his asset and derive profit will be taxed under income from capital gain. This was the third head. Now come to the fourth. Fourth one is income from business and profession. Income from business and profession. This is two term. Please careful. Be careful. This is two term. Business and profession. Business is one and profession is another. Business means simply you are having some trading concern, manufacturing concern, right? So it means trading of something goods and services. But profession it means something you have degree or diploma, you have some expertise knowledge, and you are rendering that professional knowledge to someone and getting fees or remuneration, right? So if you are having some income from your business or profession, then you will be categorized under the income under the head PGBP. This is also called PGBP. What is PGBP? PGBP simply means profit and gains from business and profession. This is PGBP. This was your fourth head of income. And the last, income from other sources, means income which is not covered in above four heads will be covered income from other sources. For example, interest income, for example, commission income, lottery income, other dividend income. These are normally categorized under income from other sources. But for example, if we take the example of interest income will be categorized as income from other sources only when earning in interest is not your primary business. For example, banking concern normally do what? They lend the money and deposit the money. It means they normally deal with the interest income. So for them, interest income is not a other source, right? I think this is clear to you. Interest income will be income from other sources only when interest is not your primary business. not your primary concern of income, right? Same in case of a commission, same in case of a lottery, right? If it is your secondary income, that will be income from others. It is your primary income, that will be covered in your particular business or profession head, right? So this is our 5 sources of income. This is our 5 sources of income. I think this is very clear to you. Income from salary, income from house property, income from capital gain, business profession, and the last is other source. Now let's discuss the income from other sources. Now let's discuss the in detail what are the income that are categorized under the head income from other sources. Income from other sources, right? So let's quickly look out the income that are categorized under the income from other sources. First is commission income. Second is interest income, dividend income, income from subletting of house property, casual income, family pension, directing sitting fees, remuneration received by employee. Please correct the spelling. There may be some spelling mistake. The eighth is remuneration received by MP. MP means member of parliament. Examiner fee received by the teacher. Agriculture income outside India. Income from royalty. Income from lottery, puzzle, racing, showcase. Income paid by the government, it is like refund of tax. Income received from discontinued business, income received from the discontinued business. Let's discuss these terms in some details, right? Commission income is what? Commission income is normally when you give some service not by directly, by someone, by through someone else. So that person through which you have rendered that service give you some amount, that amount is called commission. So if earning that commission is not your primary business, right, so that will be categorized under income from other sources. What is interest income? Interest normally we receive from the bank, from the post office, from the debentures. So if we have earned interest, then it will be categorized under the income from other sources. Now dividend, it is paid by the company from its profit. The dividend income is what? Dividend income is our other source income, right? Income from subletting of house property. What is sublet? What is mean by sublet? Subletting means you have hired some property for a rent and you further rent it to someone else. This further renting of property is sublet. This is sublet, right? The income that you are getting from subletting is under category of income from other sources. Casual income is income that is your not regular basis, somehow sudden income, right? Family pension is pension received by some wife for his husband or husband for his wife, right? Family pension. Now director sitting fees, director, as we know, that work in a company at a top level. So director, by their normal remuneration, they also receive fees for the attending general meeting, for attending board meeting. For that they are categorized under income from other sources, right? And there are MPs, member of parliament, who also receive remuneration. And their remuneration will not be salary, not be business profession. There will be other source, that will be called as other sources. Examiner fee received by teacher. Teacher normally receive salary from the school or colleges where they are working. But apart from that, when university or colleges or school conduct the examination, they have to come to the school and take the exams of the student that they will pay on a day basis, right? So that amount is called examiner fee for the teacher, that is other source. Agriculture income outside India, this is very important point. Agriculture income outside India. Agriculture income is normally exempt from tax. That means एग्रीकल्चर इनकम पे कोई टैक्स गवर्नमेंट नहीं लेती, लेकिन अगर आपने एग्रीकल्चर इनकम आउटसाइड इंडिया से डिराइव की तो दैट विल बी योर अदर सोर्स इनकम, राइट? इनकम फ्रॉम रॉयल्टी. रॉयल्टी means your surplus amount that you have rendered your particular service, right? Writing a book, right? You are an author, so you must be getting royalty from that publisher. So that royalty is covered income from other sources. Now income from lottery, puzzle, racing, right? This is also called winning from lottery, puzzle. This is what एक तरीके से सट्टेबाजी जो आप करते हैं तो उसको इस कैटेगरी में कवर करेंगे. इनकम पेड बाय द गवर्नमेंट, अगर इनकम आपको गवर्नमेंट की तरफ से रिसीव होती है, जैसे आपको रिफंड ऑफ इनकम टैक्स हुआ, तो वो आपकी इनकम अदर सोर्स में मानी जाएगी, राइट? उसके बाद इनकम फ्रॉम डिसकंटिन्यूड बिजनेस. अगर आप अपना बिजनेस डिसकंटिन्यू करते हैं और उससे आपको कोई इनकम अराइज होती है तो दैट विल बी योर अदर सोर्स income. So right, we have discussed some of the examples of income from other sources in the particular clip, right? So there may be some other income also which are categorized under the income from other sources, right? So this is the small clip of the income from other sources. I hope this is very useful for you. uh, yes, these are the 14 terms that we have discussed, 14 income that I have discussed that are categorized under income from other sources. Now let's understand which are the income which are not taxable. It means which are not form of our total income. For example, we may say that there are some income which government says that in that income there is no income tax liability. It means there is no tax applicability, right? So in this video we will discuss some of the income, not the all. I have written 7 points in that income that basically asked in exam. So we are going to discuss the 7 point that normally that do not cover your part of income, right? Let's understand one by one. So what are those heads, what are those income that are exempt from tax? First is your agriculture income. You please understand what is why is agriculture income exempt from tax. Agriculture income is the primary source of India, is the primary source of people, right? And in agriculture most of the people or even the industry, even all individuals are depend. So that is why agriculture income is made exempt. It is not to be counted as the part of your total income, right? But if there is any income you have earned from the agriculture land outside India, that it will be taxable, and it will be taxable in the head of other sources, right? Now the second source is income share of profit of a partner. Normally business firm do partnership firm do the business and have to pay flat rate of tax. Now whatever profit that comes after paying tax to the partners, that amount of profit will be exempt from income tax. Why there? That's why, because there will be a double taxation, because firm has already paid tax, and if we charge tax on the partners end, that will be double taxation. To avoid this double taxation, that profit part is exempt from the tax, right? Now the third point is income received on a voluntary retirement. What is voluntary retirement? Voluntary retirement will willful retirement, because it means retirement has been made before your term of before the actual date of your termination. So if you receive any compensation or remuneration on the time of voluntary retirement, that income is exempt from tax, right? Fifth point is amount received under life insurance policy. What is life insurance policy? Normally we made insurance for meeting some uncertain contingencies. So whatever amount we have received, that is called sum assured money. Sum assured money if we receive, that is not to be covered as income, and that is not part of income, right? Provident fund. Next is provident fund. Provident fund means any amount which was deducted while we were in a service, so that amount is received to us. This is not part of income. Normally this is our income, this is our part of income that we were contributing to the government fund, and that fund is now come to us. That is why there is no income tax liability on this side. This is provident fund, right? Next one is award and reward. Award and reward received from the government is not liable to tax, but please be careful. If we are receiving award from some private institutions or some institution which are conducting some programs or TV serials, or like Dance India Dance League, like KBC, this is taxable. Means award and reward are taxable if we receive from the government authority or government, right? Last one is dividend. Dividend is, I have already told you, dividend is part of profit that we receive from the company. So if dividend is received from the company, it is not taxable to us. But be careful, term is domestic company only. It means domestic companies dividend is not able to tax. If we receive the dividend from the foreign company, it is taxable. It is taxable under the other source, right? So this is some of the points, the 5 to 7 points that we have discussed, that are not liable to pay, that are not part of our total income, that this is not this is exempt from the tax, right? Now let's understand the term slab rate and what are the slab rate under the categories of different kinds of person, right? So in this video we will understand the slab rate, what are the slab rate available for the individual and HUF, and it is for the ओनली फॉर द असेसमेंट ईयर 1920, राइट। 1920 जिसका भी असेसमेंट एप्लीकेबल है जिसके एग्जाम में, उसके एग्जाम के लिए ये रेलेवेंट हमारी स्लैब रेट है। फॉर एग्जांपल जो भी बच्चे जून में 2020 या ऑनवर्ड्स एग्जाम देंगे, उनके एग्जाम में असेसमेंट ईयर 1920 एप्लीकेबल है। इसका मतलब उनका प्रीवियस ईयर 1890 है, तो उनको ये असेसमेंट ईयर, ये वाली स्लैब रेट याद करके रखना है फॉर द एग्जाम पर्पस, राइट। ओके, अब स्लैब रेट की बात करें तो स्लैब रेट का मतलब होता है, देखिए सिंपली जो गवर्नमेंट टैक्स कलेक्ट करती है वो दो तरीके से करती है, या तो स्लैब रेट बना के करती है या फिर वो फ्लैट सिस्टम से करती है, राइट। फॉर एग्जाम्पल अगर मैं गवर्नमेंट कहती है कि जितने भी आप रुपए कमाएंगे आप उस पर 2% देंगे, आप उस पर 2% देंगे, तो इस सिस्टम को हम बोलेंगे क्या, इस सिस्टम को हम बोलेंगे फ्लैट रेट। मतलब गवर्नमेंट फ्लैट रेट हम पे इनकम टैक्स लगा रही है। लेकिन अगर गवर्नमेंट एक एक कैटेगरी बना देती है, इतनी इनकम पे इतना, इतनी इनकम पे इतना, तो इस सिस्टम को हम बोलते हैं स्लैब रेट, जो हम डिस्कस करने वाले हैं, राइट। तो सबसे पहले हमें यह समझना होगा कि स्लैब रेट एप्लीकेबल किस पे है। जैसे मैंने डिस्कस किया पर्सन क्या होते हैं, राइट। तो पर्सन में इंडिविजुअल 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 और HUF पे क्या एप्लीकेबल है, स्लैब रेट, राइट। वैसे भी बीकॉम के एग्जाम में या BBA के एग्जाम में हमारे पास जो न्यूमेरिकल आएगा वो इंडिविजुअल HUF का ही आएगा, कंपनी के आने के चांसेस नहीं है। तो इंडिविजुअल और HUF में हमें क्या अप्लाई होता है, स्लैब रेट। मतलब हमें एक स्लैब पता होनी चाहिए किस कैटेगरी में हम आते हैं, उस हिसाब से हम इनकम टैक्स कंप्यूट करना है, राइट। अब देखते हैं हमारे पास किस कैटेगरी की क्या स्लैब रेट एप्लीकेबल है, राइट। ओके, फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल हमारे पास एज कैटेगरी है। एज कैटेगरी का मतलब है गवर्नमेंट कहती है अगर आप 60 ईयर्स तक है, मतलब अगर आप 18 प्लस और 60 ईयर तक है, तो यू विल बी कॉल्ड एज नॉर्मल सिटीजन, यू विल बी कॉल्ड एज नॉर्मल सिटीजन। तो आपके लिए इनकम टैक्स की स्लैब क्या है, फर्स्ट 2,50,000 इज एग्जेम्प्ट, मतलब पहले 2,50,000 पे कोई टैक्स नहीं भरना। उसके बाद 2.5 लाख से 5 लाख के बीच की इनकम पे 5% आपको टैक्स भरना है। फिर 5 लाख से 10 लाख रुपए तक की इनकम पे आपको 10% का टैक्स भरना है, और 10 लाख से ऊपर अगर आप जाते हैं तो आपको 20% का टैक्स भरना है, राइट। तो इस तरीके से हमें स्लैब रेट याद करनी है। बट इसका क्वेश्चन करने के लिए हम अलग से प्रैक्टिस करेंगे। इसका क्वेश्चन जब आप करेंगे थोड़ा सा इसमें अलग प्रैक्टिकलिटी है, राइट। तो अभी आप इतना समझेंगे स्लैब रेट गवर्नमेंट क्या कहती है। स्लैब रेट 250 तक कोई टैक्स नहीं लगा रही गवर्नमेंट, राइट। 250 के बाद फिर 5% का लगा रही है। 5 लाख 10 लाख के बीच अगर इनकम है 10% का टैक्स है, और 10 लाख से ऊपर 20% का टैक्स। ये किसके लिए एप्लीकेबल है, अगर एक पर्सन 60 ईयर्स तक का है, नॉर्मल सिटीजन, राइट। उसके बाद अगर आप 60 ईयर प्लस हैं, अगर आप 60 ईयर प्लस हैं और 80 तक हैं, 80 तक हैं, मतलब अगर आप एक सीनियर सिटीजन है, अगर आप 60 प्लस हैं 80 तक है, तो आपको इनकम टैक्स में बोला जाता है सीनियर सिटीजन। तो उसके लिए क्या स्लैब रेट है, उसके लिए स्लैब रेट बोलती है 3 लाख तक आपको टैक्स नहीं भरना। 3 लाख से 5 लाख तक 5% आपको टैक्स देना है। 5 लाख से 10 लाख के बीच है 10% का टैक्स देना है, और 10 लाख से ऊपर है तो 20% का टैक्स देना है। तो मतलब नई नोटेबल चीज़ क्या है, ये फर्स्ट कंडीशन मतलब 3 लाख तक यहाँ माफ़ किया गया है, जो कि नॉर्मल के लिए 250 था। उसके बाद टैक्स का रेट सेम है, right? Now coming to the person who are above the age of 80 years and they are called super senior citizen। तो उनके लिए गवर्नमेंट क्या कहती है, उनके लिए गवर्नमेंट कहती है कि 5 लाख तक आपको टैक्स नहीं देना, 5 लाख से 10 लाख के ऊपर 10% का टैक्स है, और 10 लाख से ऊपर अगर आपकी इनकम है तो यू हैव टू पे 20%। तो यहाँ नोटेबल चीज़ क्या है, यहाँ नोटेबल चीज़ क्या है, वो है ये 5 लाख तक कोई इनकम नहीं। उसके बाद की जो कैटेगरी है उस पर टैक्स का रेट सेम, उसके बाद की जो कैटेगरी है टैक्स का रेट सेम, राइट। उसके बाद जैसे मैंने बताया बीकॉम में जो क्वेश्चंस आएंगे वो इंडिविजुअल HUF के ही आएंगे। लेकिन फिर भी फॉर द नॉलेज पर्पस इन दिस पर्टिकुलर वीडियो मैं आपको बता देता हूँ, अगर फ्लैट सिस्टम की बात करें तो हमारे पास फर्म के ऊपर फ्लैट रेट लगता है। फर्म को टैक्स पे करना पड़ता है 30%, उस पर स्लैब रेट एप्लीकेबल नहीं है। अगर एक नॉर्मल व्यू में देखा जाए तो डोमेस्टिक कंपनी के ऊपर और फॉरेन कंपनी के ऊपर भी फ्लैट रेट है, उस पर स्लैब रेट एप्लीकेबल नहीं है। डोमेस्टिक कंपनी को 30% देना है और फॉरेन कंपनी को 40% देना है। लेकिन इसमें सिर्फ मेरा पर्पस आपको डिस्कस करना स्लैब रेट था, तो हमें फ्लैट रेट से भी यहाँ पे कोई इशू नहीं, राइट। तो दिस वाज द स्लैब रेट एप्लीकेबल फॉर द इंडिविजुअल HUF ओनली फॉर द असेसमेंट ईयर 1920, राइट। Okay, now let's discuss how to compute tax liability and also what is rebate that is provided by income tax, that is rebate under 87A. So in this clip we will try to understand how tax liability is being computed and how rebate is being allowed and when rebate 87A is being allowed by this small clip, right? Okay, let's discuss the sequence of calculating the rebate. Right, first of all we have to compute our total income. So in total income we have to compute gross total income. So let's calculate the gross total income. First of all, income from salary. Income from salary is one of the head. Income from salary. Now income from salary. After that, income from house property. Income from house property. Now after that, income from capital gain. Now then after that, if income from PGEP, and then income from the other sources. After aggregating all these five heads, we will get what? We will get income from gross total income. Gross total income. So after the summation of five heads, we will get gross total income. Now gross total income, from the gross total income we provide deductions. These are called deduction under chapter 6a. Deduction under chapter 6a. What is deduction under chapter 6a? What are under these deduction? We will make a we will discuss it in separate video. So deduction is basically what? There are some areas, if you put your money in that related areas, you will get some relaxation in your income, right? So after gross total income, if you have invested your money in the category of 80C, 80D, 80U, 80TTA, 80E, then this will be deducted from your income, and after deduction you will get what? You will get total income or taxable income. Total income or taxable income, right? Okay, let's repeat. This is your gross total income. Then you have done what? You have deducted your deduction if there is any applicable to you, and you have done with. And then after that you will get total income. This is what? Total income is the income after providing deductions, right? Now in total income we'll calculate our tax liability. We will calculate our tax liability by applying the suitable slab rate. What will be the slab rate, right? On the tax payable liability we will give 4%. We have to pay another 4%, that is called education and health tax. Be careful, this is education and health tax. This is 4%. Before that it was 3%. Now it is changed by 4%. 4% include what? 4% include education and health, both are cess, right? This is our total tax. In total tax, government provide us rebate. This is main for rebate. Rebate is calculated on your total tax liability. How it is being computed? Let's understand. First of all, discuss what is rebate 87A. 87A is allowed. 87A is allowed only if your total income is not exceed 3 lakhs. Total income not exceed 3 lakh. Rebate amount is payable. Rebate आपको कितनी मिलेगी? 2500 or tax payment, whichever is less. I am repeating. What is rebate under section 87A? 87A is made available to you only if you have income less than 3 lakhs, and it is 2500 or tax payment, whichever is less. It will be payable only if you have less than income 3 lakhs total income, and it will be of 2500 or tax payment, whichever is less, right? Come to the same performer. So this is your 87A. 87A will be given to you. Now that will be your net tax payment you will have to pay. And do remember, this is always computed in the net figure, not in the round off, right? It will be rounded off in the nearest of rupee 10, right? So this is a small clip where we discuss how to compute tax liability and also how to compute or how to give the rebate under section 87A, right? Okay.